Right, it's absolutely chucking it down, so obviously that means it's time for a CEX game hunt. Today we're doing the Gateshead to Newcastle run, and I'm really hunting for N64, GameCube, Game Boy and Switch. Let's start with the Switch section, which is looking remarkably small today. First thing I spot, Among Us Steelbook. Now Steelbooks on Switch aren't super common, so I'm going to guess that this came from a collector's edition rather than being a standalone release. Nice little shelf piece, but I really want the full set. Next to that is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. Now, this is a remake of two Game Boy Advance classics, Advance Wars and Advance Wars 2 Black Hole Rising. And honestly, both of those games still hold up brilliantly today. It's a turn-based strategy war game where you're fighting little skirmishes against the opposing army, and it's dangerously addictive. I finished the first campaign, but honestly, never went back for the second, which I really should. I own this on the Switch and of course the Game Boy originals, but for any Switch fan who likes tactics games, this is pretty much a must-have. Next up, Bakaru. Now, this one isn't super common. I do already own it, but I really enjoyed my time with it. I'm sure this was in the low 20s when it launched, but the price does seem to be creeping up a little bit. It's basically a spiritual successor to Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, a colourful 3D action platformer. If you like Astro Bot, Mario Galaxy, Kirby, that kind of bright, energetic platforming, you'll have a really good time here. Did you see the new Mystical Ninja collection that they're doing for the Switch as well? Oh, that's got to be a must-have buy. Japanese only, but I'm tempted just to import it either way. Oh, I'm spotting another reprinted cover here. Ugh, boo, hiss, boo. Then we've got Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club. A lot of hits in this section today. This was actually my game of the year for 2024. It's a visual novel detective game, a reboot of Famicom Detective Club, where you're investigating a string of murders connected to the Smiling Man. Absolute gem of a game. Absolute gem. Other than that, nothing really major jumping out at me. There's a very sun damaged copy of Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I do need this one for the collection, but not in that condition. I mean, I'm happy to have a little bit of damage, but this is a common title. Shelf standards need to be maintained. Right, moving into PS1, and there's some absolute heavy hitters here. Diablo 1, over £90 now. Absolutely insane. I bought this one years ago for about a third of that price. I do wonder if the release of Diablo 4 has nudged interest back in this one again. Finally, over to the Nintendo cartridges, and honestly, I'm not seeing a huge amount I'm chasing right now. Maybe South Park Chef's Love Shack. It's not exactly a masterpiece, but I do need it for the N64 collection. We'll have a look more. Moving over to the Vita section, and yes, there are indeed games. Rayman Origins though, absolute classic, no matter which system you play it on. Moving into PS4, I'm not really collecting for PS4 at the moment, but it's always worth a skim through, and as per usual, a wall of Call of Duty and FIFAs. You've got to wonder, does anybody actually buy the old FIFA games? There's about 10 years worth sitting there. That's a lot of shelf space taken up. But I suppose if they weren't there, the section would look completely empty. And I'm seeing that, I'm buying them on N64, so there's probably collectors out there. Now this one though, I don't see this too often. Gravity Rush Remastered. An absolutely exceptional game. Absolutely exceptional. The art style, gravity shifting mechanics, soundtrack. It's a unique experience. You're coming with me. GameCube selection, and there's a very lowly, slightly water-damaged Star Fox Adventures. Pity. Like a bridge over Tyne water. Next up, CEX number 2, Newcastle Granger Street. Some high-priced PS2 titles in here. I don't think I've ever seen a copy of Silent Hill 2 in genuinely good condition in a CEX. It's always either sun-faded, scratched, damaged, or missing something. Bits and pieces across the shelves. There's some box Game Boy titles here, but I personally can't see which ones they are. Castlevania, Mortal Kombat, an absolutely terrible Game Boy port. Yeah, I'm leaving these. Onto the PS5 section, and this CX actually had a little cluster of Anno games. Really fun strategy series. I've mainly played it on PC and really enjoyed it there. Not sure how I'd play it on PS5. Then there's Atomfall. I'm really waiting on a deep discount on this one. To be honest, that's pretty much my approach to PS5 in general. I'm just waiting for deep discounts on pretty much everything. How is The Sims 4 on PS4? I really like Sims 3 on PS3, but I've never actually tried the newer console version. Oh hey, Spyro as well. Very tempting because it's all on disc, but I picked up Gravity Rush. Don't want to buy too many PS4 titles. It's everywhere as well. No rush on that one. GameCube also looking sparse here, but they have stole that absolutely disgusting copy of Worms 3D from last time, so that's someone else's problem now. Wonder if it got returned to somewhere else. Wii section had something interesting though. Back to the Future, the game. Don't say that too often. This was the Telltale version of Back to the Future, set during the Prohibition era. I actually played it on PS3 and actually had a really good time with it. If you're a huge fan of the films, this is definitely one to pick up. Back to the Switch section, and here's a fun one. Atelier Ryza 2. Now, this one is on my list, but I'm a bit in two minds about picking it up. Why? Well, late last year they released a full Ryza trilogy together in Japan and Asia, the Secret Trilogy Deluxe Pack, and since then I've noticed more and more of the standalone copies popping up in CEX, which makes me think people are double dipping and trading in. It's meant to be a great series. I actually got interested after watching Takanashi Kiara play through it a few years ago. I think it was the third one though. Since then, it's been on the radar. But if importing the trilogy works out better value-wise, I might just have to go that route instead. Other than that, not much here I'm actively chasing. I should really grab Persona 5 Royal sooner than later, but I'll see what's in the final CEX before committing. CEX number 3, and honestly at this point I've had my absolute fill of FIFA filled shelves. There's a complete Pokemon Stadium 2 here, which is very nice looking, but I don't know, mine isn't complete, so I do need to upgrade it at some point, but I've already spent quite a bit today. Switch section here is honestly a little poor. There is a copy of Blasphemous 2, which I am kind of after, but I need to find the first one as well, and I just don't want to jump straight into the sequel without having both on the shelf. And honestly, that's about it. Not much call to me in this one today, so I think that's a sign. It's raining, shelves are thin, FIFAs are multiplying. I think it's time to go home. perfect. Well, a wet but an interesting day out game hunting. I have picked up a lot. Let's have a look and see what I've picked up, shall we? So the first place I went to was Gateshead Trinity Square, and they've had a bit of a do-over. I'm going to be honest, I'm not sure I like it. The idea is they're going to have a big glass case across one side of the shop, which holds a lot of, like your steering wheels, your 3DS consoles, your high-value retro game stuff, which is different to when you walk in the door and they've got the stuff to the right. I like that, being able to just go in, have a look and see what they've got, come out. And yeah, it was a bit weird having to get through that new layout, but I also felt that, I don't know, the sections were a lot smaller. Like Switch was down to like just one segment, and there was a lot of stock, but it felt like there was hardly anything. Somehow, with all of the change around, it feels like there's less shelves, but there's also kind of less stock on the shelves. I don't know. There's more stock on less shelves. I think that's basically what it is. And I don't know. I like to be able to see some of the games, and having them all pressed together on one shelf was kind of, yeah. They did have a few other interesting things, and the first game I picked up was one for the N64 collection, and we're at that point. We're at that point where we need to start buying some of the terrible games. I know I'm well behind on sports titles and stuff like that, but I'm going to try and go out and just buy all the sports games, so stuff is a little bit more interesting. But today's pickup, South Park Chef's Love Shack. And this is a contender for one of the worst games on the N64, if not the worst game on the N64. I know a lot of people will say Superman 64, Carmageddon 64, and they are absolutely right. Those are bad games. But this one, Chef's Love Shack, is somehow terrible just as much. So South Park Chef's Love Shack continues the trend at the time of getting South Park onto the N64. Now, I have a little bit of nostalgia for the other two South Park games. The original South Park one, which is a first-person shooter in South Park, wasn't great, but it was fun and was memorable. South Park Rally was actually a game I had on the PlayStation 1, and for a long time was the only legit game I had on the PlayStation 1, but I never got far in it. I did pick that up a while ago for the N64, and it's not a great game. Chef's Love Shack is somehow worse. This is a multiplayer quiz game with no single player option. Yeah, so this is a quiz game. It's American general knowledge. There's not really much South Park stuff on, and every now and again you might get like a little kind of like South Park mini game in there. But the problem is this is a multiplayer game. There is a single player, but you don't go against the computer. You go against nobody. So who are you fighting against? Who are you going up against? There is no winning in a quiz show when you're literally the only person there. It's just to sit there and do your own general knowledge. At least titles like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire dangle that whole progression thing of, oh, I managed to get to the millionaire spot. What do you get for rewards for this? Nothing. You get some weird, out of sync South Park quotes from each character, and that's about it. There is so little on here, and I'm going to be honest. Carmageddon 64, it's a bad game, but it's a game. Superman 64, it's a bad game, but it's a game. This, in my opinion, is the worst N64 game of all time. I'm happy to die on that hill as well. The other two, you can at least play them. They're not good games, but they are at least playable games. This is an absolute abomination. Absolutely terrible. The next one is one that you guys saw me pick up, and it's a PlayStation 4 game that I'm excited to play. Now, I have played this on the PlayStation Vita, and I'm going to be honest, it is one of the best games on that system. To me, that was a system seller. And I never ended up picking it up on the PlayStation 4 with Gravity Rush. And the reason being is I was just like, oh, it's a remaster. I was just like, oh, I've already got it on the PlayStation Vita. But I picked up Gravity Rush 2 years ago. I still got the thing sealed, which actually begs the question, you know, it's an expensive game now. And I was like, either I get rid of Gravity Rush 2, or I pick up Gravity Rush and play them both back to back. Now, PlayStation, if I'm going to be honest, there's not many first party titles that really grab my interest. I had a fine time with Astro Bot, I had a fine time with Ratchet and Clank, but a lot of the third person open world games I don't really have much interest in at this point. Gravity Rush I'm excited to play through. This is one that I just fell in love with on the Vita. I just loved the whole puzzle platformer kind of aspect of it, and it was just a fun, unique game. It's an absolute gem of a title, and in my opinion, I think this is the last really good first party title I absolutely loved from Sony. So being able to replay it on the PlayStation 4, I'm looking forward to it. And the fact that I can actually go on to Gravity Rush 2 straight afterwards. I know I could, but obviously Vita, I sold my Vita stuff ages ago, so I could do it for a good refresher. This one, as soon as I saw it, I had to have it. And I don't buy many PlayStation titles. Every time I do buy one, it's always a game that I want to pick up and play. A very exciting title in my opinion. An absolute gem. So I went around the other CEXs in Newcastle and they didn't really have much for me. Because I bought Gravity Rush, I didn't want to buy the Spyro trilogy, which is on my list of games I want to play and pick up on the PlayStation, because the Switch ones all download codes and stuff like that. But yeah, there wasn't a huge amount in the CEXs. The post-Christmas lull is still continuing well into February. So I went to the Retro Game Shop, which is always a gem in Newcastle. Now, I didn't get any footage, but I have agreed that we will go back in the near future and pick up a few titles and do a bit of a video for that shop. It all depends on how busy it is, realistically. But I managed to get another N64 game, and this is one that, it's a sports title. This is NHL 99. Now, I'm going to be absolutely honest, I don't really know much about ice hockey, but NHL 99, I had a good hour with this one. It's EA Sports, and I'm going to be honest, say what you want about them. EA Sports, when they were doing stuff late 90s, early 2000s, they were good at what they did, and this is a really fun ice hockey game. I don't know much about ice hockey. Basically all I know is like people like to tackle and attack each other with sticks while also trying to get the puck into the goal, but I had a genuine fun time with this, and it's one that I was kind of, the more I played it, I was just like, you know what, maybe I've been wrong about EA all of that this time. Maybe I've been wrong about ice hockey. Maybe I've been wrong about sports titles. There's a lot more to them than I might have initially mentioned. But it's still one that, you know, it was a cheap pickup. I'm not exactly thrilled about picking up sports titles for the N64, but as we're going along, I'm going to have to try and get as many of them as I can, because I don't want to have my final days of N64 collecting looking for sports games. And there's not a huge amount that I'm missing. I think I'm missing about 10 or 12, mainly basketball ones and American football ones. So not really ones I'm really too interested in playing, but yeah, there's a lot of them. I'm going to try and get them, play them before they're all kind of blur into one glorious whole. While this was an N64 quest, while this was a quest to see what was around, I managed to tick off something on my GameCube collection. And when I say something, I mean two things, because Retro Game Shop, he had some hidden gems. And the first one is another Mario title, Dance and Stage Mario Mix. Now this was £20, I'm aware that I can probably get a little slightly cheaper in CEX, but I just don't really see it enough. So yeah, this came on the back of the whole of the Dance Dance Revolution craze. It does have its manual and everything in, which is why I kind of just bought it, because I was like, you know, CEX is like bad copies, damaged copies, waterlogged copies. We saw that Star Fox game in the Gateshead one. But yeah, I'm going to be honest, I had a go at this. I don't have the dance mat for it. I'm never going to pick up the dance mat for it. This is a Mario game that I'm a little bit less interested in, but it's one that a lot of people really like. A lot of people really like this one. I think this is genuinely considered like one of the most unique dancing games. And it's funny though, because apart from Just Dance, and obviously we had the Wii like 20 years ago, we don't see dancing games too often these days, which is interesting. At least in my opinion. We don't like see the whole DDR anymore, which I think will probably do a comeback for that franchise. But yeah, it's not one that I'm really excited for, but it's a Mario game. This now leaves me with 2 Mario games I think I need to get for the GameCube collection, which is another version of Luigi's Mansion. So I've got it boxed once again. I got the disc, not the case, and the Mario Baseball one, which is like £170 or something like that on CEX, if it's in stock, because I think I've noticed CEX is now selling out of a lot of the high-priced GameCube titles. But yeah, this is one that, it's not really exciting, but it's unique. It's a Mario dancing game. Wahoo! And the other one is one that, as soon as I saw this, I had to pick it up. I've never seen this game before, to the point that I actually thought it was an American-only one. It wasn't cheap, but it's a game that I'm going to get tons of hours out of. And I've seen this type of game before. Namco Museum 50th anniversary. This is 20 years old now, so this is probably like 70th anniversary. But this has 14 of Namco's greatest hits, including Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man, Dig Dug, Pole Position, and a few others. Now, again, wasn't cheap. This was £75, but again, this is one that I don't see much in CEX. And again, it all comes down to quality. So the quality of this one again is really nice. We've got the whole of the instruction manual, and the disc looks absolutely clean. Now, I'm going to be honest, I love arcade games, and it's a weird one because Ms. Pac-Man is an arcade game that I absolutely adore. However, it rarely seems to come into these collections. I know there's a bit of a minefield around Ms. Pac-Man, so when I saw this and the fact I was going for a GameCube collection, I knew this one had to be in there. This is a game I've never seen before, and it's one that I probably rarely see again. Now, at the time when I bought this, this was not in stock in CEX. I believe it is now, but at the end of the day, it's a small local business. Sometimes you got to pay a little bit more, but I don't mind doing so. This is an absolute clean copy, and I'd rather pay that little bit more, get a fantastic copy, than have to jump through the CEX minefield over and over again. It's not a significant change in price, but it's one that's just worth mentioning. I am really excited to play through this. I say really excited. I've had a go on this. I've had a few hours on this. Oh my god, Ms. Pac-Man has corrupted my life once more. I haven't actually really had a chance to go on the other ones. Dig Dug is one that I always have a good time with. I've just got on everything else. I think I've got on the Evercade and stuff like that. Pac-Man itself, I've got on so many different ones. Galaga is one that I don't really play much of, but I'm looking forward to trying a bit more. And a few of the others, these are titles that I've never really played before. I know the big ones is Pac-Man, but I know £75 for Ms. Pac-Man's a lot, but it's part of the GameCube collection. It's one I'm going to have to pick up eventually. But it's one, as soon as I saw it, I knew I wanted in my collection. So that was a bit of an interesting quest, I think, today. We got a lot of titles on a spread of consoles. Didn't get anything Game Boy, didn't get anything Switch, but we got a game for the PlayStation 4, Gravity Rush, one of my all-time favourite PlayStation exclusives. We got 2 more titles for the N64 collection, which is getting very difficult just to find games. Never mind games I need, just to find games in general. Obviously the analog 3D has made things absolutely insane, and I had a bit of a splurge, an expensive trip to the retro game shop, and I bought 2 games, Mario Dancing 1, another one into the Mario collection, but Namco. Again, that's what I'm going to sink a lot of hours into. I absolutely love good old arcade games, but I'm really enjoying doing these quests. I'm really loving the focus. It's nice to be able to have a clear goal, because before I was just going out and buying just about anything I could see. Now I've got a quest, especially GameCube as well. GameCube was just keeping things going and making things a lot more interesting for me going out. Especially the N64's died off, and Switch is kind of weird at the moment. Like, Switch is kind of like, it's not I've got everything, it's just kind of like, I don't know, I've got enough. But I mean, obviously we're not going to have everything a hit. Chef's Love Shack, not a great game, but it's one I needed in the collection. Not a game I was going to buy the box version for and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to chalk this up as to an expensive but a very good day. Now, I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea. I think some Miss Pac-Man is on the cards. Enjoy your weekend. See you later.